Poonlaken Butthole Probes Limited by Bobby Grace. I recently read an article about the appearance of anal probing in the alien abduction folklore narrative, how being anally probed by aliens was first reported in the 1960s, how it quadrupled in the 1980s, and how it continued to rise among reported alien abductions to its present level of anal probing being contained in nearly every alien abduction report. Well, if that's the case, thinks I, somebody must be in the anal probe manufacturing business. Somewhere out there across the light years is a highly evolved alien society of butthole researchers capable of intergalactic travel. And within that society, there must be one or more manufacturers of butthole probes. This is the story of one of them. Good evening, intergalactic viewers. I'm Bilroy Laptingle with today's news. Scientists predicted that shrinking probability will eventually become too small for the universe if the universe continues to ignore the hand-wash-only label. It is asteroid season in the border planets, so keep those helmets on. Willie Nelson and Keith Richards will be performing live at the Venturian Arcadia in the Poontang sector to launch their Outer Rim tour, and leading the financial news, the board of directors of Poonlaken Butthole Probes Limited met earlier today. Reporting live from Poonlaken headquarters is Chet Parlinit. Thanks, Bilroy. I'm here in front of the corporate headquarters of Poonlaken Butthole Probes Limited. Their banner product, the Poonlaken Human Butthole Probe, has been the market leader of human butthole probes since 1965. Gubrat Poonlaken, the company's aging patriarch and chairman of the board, said today, quote, Poonlaken was the first, and we're still the favorite among human butthole researchers today. Everything we know about human buttholes, we know because of the Poonlaken Human Butthole Probe. End quote. Can you tell us a little about the company, Chet? Certainly, Bilroy. The official history of Poonlaken Butthole Probes Limited suggests the once small, family-owned butthole probe business was rocketed to its current market dominance on that single fateful day. Great Uncle Blork Poonlaken decided that human buttholes were the future of probing. Blork Poonlaken had been receiving reports from returning Earth explorers that, in spite of their best efforts with generic butthole probes, their butthole probing was being hampered due to the lack of adequate human-specific butthole probing tools. Now that we've mastered intergalactic travel, we've got to get this butthole situation under control, Great Uncle Blork Poonlaken reportedly said, and the Poonlaken company turned to the task with gusto. Poonlaken funneled bazarillions of intergalactic creditoids into research and development. I understand Blork Poonlaken was leveraged to the hilt with the Great Northern Bank of Southern Andromeda to pay for the extensive research and costly product development. That is correct, Bilroy, and to pay all the lobbyists and legislators. Blork Poonlaken is also credited with avoiding several labour strikes during this period, and what was shaping up to be a vicious clash between Poonlaken and the United Brotherhood of Butthole Probe Testers, Local 763. Wasn't there some kind of government scandal, Chet? Too right, Bilroy. Poonlaken's accounting records were under investigation for years, as were several legislators and government officials, in an attempt to prove accounting fraud. The money Poonlaken paid to the legislators and government employees, as well as associated expenses, such as attorneys and lobbyists, was ultimately determined to have been legally and accurately recorded by the Poonlaken Accounting Department as General Butthole Expense. The Supreme Court of the Gambler-Utia Alliance found Poonlaken Butthole Probes not guilty on all counts. When the government moved from general-purpose butthole probes to human-specific butthole probes, Poonlaken was perfectly positioned. From all the patents submitted by all the interplanetary companies, Poonlaken was awarded the government contract for human butthole probes. Their stock took off, Bilroy interjected. That's right, Bilroy. Poonlaken Butthole Probes became the overnight sensation in the butthole probe market. They were and are the undisputed leader in human butthole probes. While holding a significant share in the expanding butthole probe market as new species are discovered, Poonlaken's human butthole probe remains their flagship product. Every so often, over the years, the Poonlaken marketing department introduced a model change. The Proboscis, the Probefessional, and the probably deep enough are examples of these model changes. These changes were mostly cosmetic to justify price increases, while the essential operation remained true to great-uncle Blok Poonlaken's original patent. Keep it simple was Blok Poonlaken's philosophy. Get in and get the hell out, Blok Poonlaken used to say. If you dally around, it'll become weird. Thanks, Chet. I can see his point. Are there any threats to Poonlaken's market position? Well, Bilroy, the Poonlaken human butthole probe, had some early competitors in the human butthole probe market. There was the Gorban Butthole Buster, which was known as the GBB. The company was unfortunately forced into early bankruptcy when it was discovered they had incorrectly mapped the location of the human butthole, resulting in horrific outcomes, as reported by early Earth explorers. The Swiss Army butthole probe was a well-engineered but short-lived entry into the market. It failed quickly because of too many attachments. It turned out that nobody wanted to clip their fingernails or open a can of beans while probing human buttholes. People don't multitask like they used to, Bilroy said. I suppose not Bilroy. The B-movie boxcar butthole probe was briefly renowned for its data range, but it was ultimately discontinued for causing too many problems due to its incompatibility with the shape of the human butthole. Also worthy of mention is the Dunwitty Deep Diver. Founder, Lactine Dunwitty, was credited with the discovery of human tonsils during one of the first probes of the human butthole. In spite of this early competition, the Poonlaken brand human butthole probe cornered the market. Poonlaken is the household name in human butthole probing. Since then, Poonlaken butthole probes has pioneered other species-specific butthole probes. I seem to remember Poonlaken's Arturian, Methuselah, and Quartonian butthole probes boasted some acceptance among butthole researchers, Bilroy said. Yes, they did, Bilroy, but none enjoyed the success of the Poonlaken human butthole probe, prompting Poonlaken to primarily focus on accessories for their banner product. Notable among these accessories is the universal perineum mount, which revolutionized probing of the human butthole and, within a few years, became the industry standard. I see Poonlaken butthole probe stock experienced a 46% rise in share value today, Chet. Indeed it has. This comes in the wake of the government's recent decision to legalize recreational buttholing. For now it's restricted to the Earth planet, but legislators believe they can see other buttholes on the horizon. On the tail of the government's decision, Poonlaken butthole probes, at today's board meeting, announced the release of the first ever sports model butthole probe for the hobbyist and weekend buttholer. Probing buttholes is no longer just for the butthole probing professional, Bilroy. Back to you. Sounds like fun for the whole family, Chet. Thank you for your probe into the current state of human butthole research and the manufacturers who make that possible. Ladies and gentlemen, Chet Parlinit on location. I'm Bilroy Laptingle. Stay tuned for today's sports. You're watching the Intergalactic News Network.